Hey everybody, it's on screen, off screen, and we have Lauren again! Woohoo! I'm super pumped for this episode. We watch movies, we read books, and we try to find things that are going to influence our lives in a positive way and spread that onto you. Lauren, I am so pumped for your first topic. Genuinely super interested in what you think. Go ahead.
Okay, so my first topic is K-pop Demon Slayers. I actually, when I first started it, I was like, but then I kept watching it, and I'm obsessed with this show. It's on Netflix. It has the premise is that it's these K-pop stars that also are demon slayers. And so the very beginning is them uh, choreographing a dance and a battle to killing like all of these demons. And so like with the animation, it, it's good. I just really can't get they add anime aspects to it. So like, when they have like the cry eyes or like I'm trying to think of specifically, they have like popcorn popping out of their eyes when they see like this hot guy, and it
Okay.
doesn't register well for me in 3D animation. So I really didn't like that. It kind of gave it almost a claymation feel when they would do that. And
Why
then
popcorn?
I don't know, but they had
Okay.
popcorn like popping from their eyes, and I'm like, I've never seen that in anime. Maybe I have, but I didn't realize that's what it was. Um, but yeah, they would just have popcorn like their eyes would go away and popcorn's just like spewing out of their eyes, and I'm like, okay, so that always took me out of it for a second. So like, it definitely had anime uh, aspects. It had 3D. I think it's the same studio that did um, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And so like you can see where they have like the 2D mixed in with 3D, so they do a lot of effects that are 2D, which I'm a fan of that. I really like that that's getting into more movies. And then I didn't look too far into this, but somebody mentioned that this movie took 9 years to make. And like, that's insane. But every single song in this, it's a musical, obviously. Um, every single song in this movie, I think, is really good. And I've literally just been like listening to the soundtrack. And like, I was playing games with friends yesterday, and I kept like singing it under my breath. And they're like, shut up, a monster's gonna kill us. like, um, but yeah, all in all, I think it was great. There was so there's the main three. I can't remember all their names. I think it's like uh, Rumi, Zoe, and Mira.
Okay.
Anyway, they focus on Rumi most of the time, but then there's like this end song that I feel like would have been more impactful if we got more of the two other girls in the band's backstory. Because they have a song that talks about how like it just barely talks about how one was a wild child, but like now that's how she's getting paid. And then the other person, like I think it was like talking about how like her parents were divorced, and it's just like I tried to play both sides, but now I'm just doing what's meant for me and stuff. And like that's all the insight you get in their lives is that little blip in that one song. And I feel like they could have gone deeper into those two other characters to make the ending, I think, hit more with me.
Okay.
But otherwise, I really liked it. It has a funny cat and bird uh, animals in there that are clearly there just for kind of like the comic relief, gimmicky characters, but they did really good with it, and I loved those characters. Um, yeah, it's definitely like if you like K dramas and K pop, like, and even if you don't, because those aren't really my scene, and I really liked this movie. So
Do you like any K dramas or any K pop?
probably do, but it's not like I could tell you exactly. Like I probably heard one song and I'm like, I like that, and they're like, yeah, that's
Okay.
K-pop. But
But you don't have like a I love this band or anything K-pop.
no,
Okay.
nope.
Okay. My sister-in-law is obsessed with K-pop, and I'm sure that she would love this. Are most of the songs like a female K-pop group? Do they have male K-pop groups? Like,
So yeah, they have. It begins with a girl K-pop group, and then some demons are like, "Ooh, to battle them, we're gonna make a boy band." So it's this boy band and this girl band battling it out, and
okay,
so the guys are trying. The demon uh, group is trying to get like all of their fans to basically drag them down to hell. It's great. I really like the
okay.
story. I really like the music. There's some things I feel like they could have nailed better, but all in all, I'd say watch it. It's a good time. Like I don't regret it. I don't think anybody would regret watching it.
Is it open for a season 2?
It's a movie, so
Oh, oh
it
yeah, you just said that. But
yeah, it
is
possibly
it
could
open for a
be
movie too?
possibly. Yeah.
Okay,
So
Okay.
cool, cool.
So my questions are, my first one is, are you talking about K-pop Demon Hunters?
is that what it's called? Hunters?
That's
Yep.
what Google found. You wrote K-pop Demon Slayers, and I
Keep
want to make
calling
sure
it Demon
we get the
Slayers.
same.
Yeah, let me double check that. Uh,
Pretty sure it's Demon Hunters.
it might be Demon Hunters.
There is
I looked.
something on Netflix called Demon Hunters. You said Slayers. I heard somebody else call it Slayers like a
It
week
is
ago.
Hunters. You're right.
It's
Okay, I
Hunters.
just want to make sure I was looking at the same thing and I was on the same
Yeah.
page. Okay,
Sorry, everybody.
based on your synopsis, the thing this reminds me of, this kind of gives off Scott Pilgrim vibes, but K-pop.
I haven't. Scott Pilgrim?
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Okay, I don't think I've seen that, so I
Oh,
couldn't tell you.
okay. Well, never mind then. I was trying to relate it to something relatable. Next question, Conlon, are you into any K dramas or K-pop stars?
My sister-in-law is obsessed with K-pop, so she's shown me some songs that I actually do like. Am I into any of the bands? No. Do I understand why girls like these guys? Absolutely hell no. But there are a couple songs that I like. I told her that I would try one K drama just because she likes it so much. I haven't done it yet, so I don't know.
Okay.
They seem kind of dumb to me. Like what she talks about being so great about them is they don't even hold hands till the very end. So you always have this like cute like will they hold hands? And I'm like, guy, stop being a pansy and just freaking hold her hand. You, ah. So it sounds
Okay,
like something I'm not gonna love, but she looks like this is the cutest thing that's ever been.
it's so true though, because it's just so wholesome. Because it's like I feel like a lot of media is just oversaturated with like sex and stuff like that. So like to have like the build up be like hold their hands, like it's more of a connection than like, oh, and then they slept together, you know? So like that's where it's like, oh my gosh, she actually really cares, and like that they're putting so much thought into just holding hands. That's where it gets me anyway.
I'm on
So
Lauren's side on that one.
I like okay, I get it. But also at the same time, I there was this girl that I dated in high school, and she dated this other guy, and the other guy like wouldn't kiss her, even though she was like, "Please kiss me." And it went on for a long, long time, and their thing was like, "We held hands." Oh, and I was just like, "Dude, just do it. Stop pussyfooting around. Let's go. What are you doing, guys? Move." And I think there's a balance. Like, yeah, you shouldn't be like, okay, we went on a date, hop in bed like most American TV. There's a little bit more romance that could be built there. Absolutely. There's also like, is this guy really that timid? Like, let's make a move, people. Let's go.
Well, in like K dramas, it's very I believe like in Korean TV, like they're not allowed to show like kissing or anything like that. So yeah, the hand holding is like as far as you can take it. So you don't want to be like, oh, they held hands on the first date. Okay, romance over. Like you have nothing to build up towards. And like I also like how it's a lot more focused on them getting to know them. I think it was like a previous episode where you guys were talking about like animes and they're like, "Oh, why does she want him to say their name?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, in Japanese culture, like you say their first name to mean that you're familiar with them." And so to have them say like their first name is really special. So, I think it's really cute that holding hands is so special, especially once again since our life is so saturated with all that other garbage.
Yeah, we in America are way too far the other way, way too far the other way. Um, and it sounds like you should watch a K drama.
I know. My friend has told me all about them, and I just have to find some to watch
Literally,
Yep,
just ask a
there's
friend.
yeah.
Yeah,
or
you should watch.
comment which ones I should watch. People.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, that's awesome. What would you recommend, or how? 1 out of 10. What do you think about K-pop Demon Hunters?
I think since I've literally been listening to it on repeat, I would have to say like 8.5. Because I actually wanted to watch it again after I finished watching it, but uh, I don't know. I feel like this is one that like could fade for me, so that's why I'm not saying 9. Um, because recency bias, but like it's very catchy. 8.5.
Nice, guys. That's a high recommendation. That's awesome.
Mhm.
If that interests you, you should absolutely watch it. Lauren's a genius, and everything she recommends so far has been great. All right, let's go to our second one. Josh, what do you got?
So I have picked up the old uh, Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and this is actually kind of going to lead into our shared topic this week. Because of what we picked, I decided I was going to have a Saturday morning, like I'm 8 years old kind of day again. So,
Nice.
what did that mean? It meant I got to get the new Zelda game. I'm going to watch our shared topic show, another animated from my childhood show. I had my childhood favorite cereal, which is still the same to this day, Fruity Pebbles, because they're the best. Um,
They're good.
and I had the day off from work. So I was just like Saturday morning cartoons, I'm going to start the show. I'm going to eat my cereal. I'm going to totally enjoy this. And then as soon as I finished the show, I jumped into Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Um, this game has like a fundamental problem, I think, in the
Okay.
fact that they decided to switch to the point of view from Zelda. Um, because if you make her super strong and independent, you kind of undermine the role of Link and be like, well, if she can do all this kinds of stuff, why did Link need to save her through 30 games already or however many there are? And if you make her super weak, you just spend the entire game going, this is frustrating. Let me get back to playing as Link because Link is actually useful. Um, they take a kind of like interesting approach in the fact that you summon things and you summon creatures, uh, which is on its face really good. There are some really interesting puzzles that they've done. I'm about like almost halfway through, so like 2/5 ish through.
Okay.
Um, but it's already kind of getting old when it comes to combat because essentially what you have to do is summon a monster to do your fighting for you, and you spend the time running around just avoiding attacks. Or you do get a power ability to switch basically into Link for a temporary amount of time, but it's a bar that goes down as you use it. So it's very limited time wise. So the most efficient thing to do is a mixture of both, where you summon a monster to do your battling for you, and then when there's an open shot, switch into Link and do the combat parts. Um, but that's already getting kind of old, and the puzzles are, as you start to gain more and more abilities, there's a lot more limitations on how they can stump you. Like the very first thing you get in the game is a bed. And you think, okay, so what? Well, a bed you can lay in to heal. So I can literally just summon a creature to go do my fights, lay down in this bed, and wait. And that's it. And then when it comes to fighting, it's the only item so far that you can offset it. So you can put one here and one right here. So you can jump onto the bed and then onto the next bed and then onto the next bed and then onto the next bed. So you have a huge range of distance that you can cross, as well as like height, because you're limited on how high you can jump. Then, like the second dungeon, I think you get a spider, and all the spider does is shoot a web to the ceiling that you can climb. So anything that's like high up, so long as there is a ceiling, you just summon said spider and crawl up, and no big deal. And then to make it even easier, you have an ability to like push and pull things, not like push and pull, but like if you can latch onto it and move your character. So you're limited by like your movement range. It will move the same as you. But the flip side to that is if there's like something that is moving, you can also latch yourself to it and follow. So any like moving platform thing, latch yourself, follow along. So it's not like the most challenging puzzle game anymore either. It's still fun. It's by far not my least favorite Zelda. Um,
Which one is?
I'm torn between two. Zora's Mask is very frustrating, but there's a lot of creativity and good things that I can look at there. But is also like, because it has the 3-day timer, you can get so close and then have to start all over, and that is the most frustrating, irritating thing in the world. And Zelda Twilight Princess is the most overrated game I think I've ever played in my entire life.
You get that out of your mouth?
It's true. Favorite. It's genuinely a really bad game.
No!
Mechanics wise, control, like the controls is terrible. They're awful. Like truly, okay. truly awful.
How did you play it on the Wii?
Yeah.
You didn't like it?
Nope. I thought the story was really weak and convoluted, and then like I got to a part where I was trying to get on Epona and race out to a field where you run into the goblins on the machine thing and you're supposed to shoot them with the arrows and do all that kind of stuff. I ran into the wall of the canyon 25 times trying to just get out because of how the camera was whipping around.
Sounds like user error.
Sounds like they need better control schemes. Like the other game I could talk about is Dark Void. It's a game I started to emulate that's from my childhood. It has worse flying mechanics than Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy. And like that was shocking to me. Right? Like the mechanics do matter in these games, and the mechanics of Zelda Twilight Princess are awful.
What do you mean with Hogwarts Legacy? It's a basic flying, like.
Nope, it's terrible. It's not basic up down. It is awful. Play any flying game if you're into flying games, like I am, like Star Wars Squadrons. Play any flying game and it's smooth.
Is literally the one that I was thinking of, and it's very similar to playing Star Wars Battlefront.
No, the way you move up and down and turn and accelerate in Hogwarts Legacy really bothers the crap out of me. I hate it. It is the worst part about that game. But that one is not so bad that it makes it unbearable. Twilight Princess is unbearably bad with its controls.
So why do you think you didn't have a problem with it, Lauren?
I think that's because it's the very first video game I've ever played. Um, and it was the first one that I ever played like beginning to end. Um, and so I don't think I knew any better. And so I was obsessed with it. I will agree that the hardest part in Twilight Princess is when you're escorting this carriage and you're trying to kill everybody who's trying to light it on fire as you're escorting them to, I think, the castle.
Wherever it was.
Yeah, that was the hardest part for me. But then I figured out not to stay next to the carriage and you run out, and I knew where everybody was, and I went and killed them before the carriage even got there. And that was the only way I could beat that because, yeah, the mechanics were a little awful there. And I hated doing that portion of the game. But I loved the rest of the game.
The other thing I want to add is she probably played it when it was newer.
True.
Because I played it when I was going through and playing all of the Zeldas. And that's the one that I got to before I was like, I just can't play this anymore. Like this one. So I had the double failure of like compressing all the Zeldas to a much shorter period of time, plus the recency bias of like knowing what good smooth mechanics feel like. Like, I don't know if you've ever gone back to old games and been like, how did I get through this stuff?
Oblivion, the original before the remaster, the old Oblivion was terrible.
The original Star Wars Lego game with the speed pod racer thing, like I once got back into that and I was like, this is impossible. How did I ever get through this? It is so difficult to control this thing. And then, like I said, I started emulating Dark Void, and that one is just as bad. Like when you just go back to those older games, I think the weird mechanics amplify because you do have that comparison to something newer. And like when I started playing it, it was right before Tears of the Kingdom came out.
Oh.
Like that's how recent it was. And the other part is a lot of the build up because Twilight Princess is so many people's favorite Zelda game, and it had been built up for me for so long. And I just never had a Wii. That when I finally got to play it, I was super disappointed.
Have you played other Zelda games since, Lauren?
Yeah. I played Ocarina of Time, and then all of the Breath of Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I think those are
your favorite.
I mean, I think it's just because I love the story of Twilight Princess. And like I think about it a lot actually. It would probably be Twilight Princess or Breath of the Wild. Actually, no, Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay.
Because I think Tears of the Kingdom is the only one that when I finished it, it felt very satisfying to me. Because like all of the other Zelda games, like you beat it and then it's like, okay, that's it. And then you don't like get to go see like everybody after you saved them. But I think like, I feel like in Tears of the Kingdom, you kind of get like, and this is what happens afterwards when you finally defeat it. But it's usually like, okay, Gandalf, Ganondorf is dead. And then we're done. Yay. But I feel like in Tears of the Kingdom it actually pays off.
Very cool.
Well, let me ask you this question. Because Ocarina of Time is the best Zelda game. What was your impression of that? Because you're going back even further than I went back on Twilight Princess. So, mechanics-wise, story-wise, all that kind of stuff. Like how much nostalgia is impacting my score on it.
For Ocarina?
Yeah.
I liked Ocarina, but sometimes I get this is like animation bias, I think. Sometimes when things are like too sharp in their animation, it kind of like puts me off. Uh, but I liked Ocarina of Time enough to overlook that. So I think it's really good. Um,
Why
like
did you like why did you like Twilight Princess's story more than Ocarina's? Because that's where I think Ocarina is ridiculously good.
I think I just really liked. I think I just really liked that you could change into like a wolf, and like how they introduced that. And I feel like it's more. Um, I really like that you start in a village, and you kind of. It's a kind of a slower start than I think Ocarina is, and you like get to know everybody, and you're running around and just doing little things for them, like you're saving a basket for this pregnant lady who's about to have a baby, and then like you're there when crap happens, and then so like I felt more determined to go help this little village that I'd grown up in than in Ocarina, where they're like, "You're not a fairy, but you're here, and now you need to go help." Like go and help. Um, so yeah, I really liked it. Felt more personal with Twilight.
Very cool. Very cool. Do you want to ask anything else, Josh?
No, that was it. I mean, like animation wise, you're right. That was the era of pointy boobs, and like that's just what you're gonna get. I mean, Tomb Raider came out after this game, so I mean, you can only do so much with so few polygons. That's just part of the era, unfortunately, and I can see that. Like the animation is bad, and even when I go back and play it now, not only do I already know the story, but I skip through all the cutscenes because it's not like Blizzard when you go back and you're like, oh my gosh, these cutscenes look so good even for their era, or Star Wars: The Old Republic, where you're just like, I'll just watch the cutscenes. I don't even need to play the game. It's nothing like that at all. Uh, so animation, that's definitely a fair one. Mechanics wise, did anything like that bother you in it, or did it control fairly well?
I think the mechanics were pretty good. I feel like there was something in the water temple that I was super mad at, but I can't remember what it was. But I remember being super mad in the water temple.
Everybody's super mad in the Water Temple. That is the mark on that game, or most
Oh,
Zelda
okay.
games, is the water temples. Yeah, the water temple in Ocarina of Time is very frustrating because you have to like raise and lower the water level like 20 times,
Mm.
and it's like just like I get going through a puzzle once, but when they make you rehash the puzzle over and over and over and over again, it gets frustrating, and I think that's the hardest part about the water temple in that game.
I remember my brother playing Ocarina of Time, and I swear there was like this grate where there was a shark behind the grate. Where is that? Is that a thing, or is that just something I dreamed up?
That's a thing in Mario 64.
Is it?
I
Oh,
don't think it's in Ocarina. I could be wrong, but
I
I
don't
felt
think
like it
so.
was in
I haven't played Ocarina in a long time.
a weird shack or something. But like you went down and it was, I don't know. Probably dreamed it up. Oh, I did have a question about Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. So if you are battling with Zelda, like Zelda and Link are fighting together, and usually with like the telltale of like Zelda games, it's like you're saving Zelda. What's kind of the story plot for Echoes of Wisdom?
it's the same as Twilight Princess. There's some darkness void that is from another realm that is taking over Hyrule. Same as like Tears of the Kingdom. It's what they're going off of. Zelda gets a fairy guide, and so she has the ability to go into the void and out of the void and save they're called shards. And after you do two of them, Link is not there. Link is captured by the void. So part of the story, and the most irritating part of the story to me, is like you as Zelda went in and saved the Zoras and the Gorons and the princesses and the princes of all of these kingdoms. And you know what all of the leaders say? Not thank you. They're like, hey, where's that Link guy? We really need him to save the world. And you're like, what did I just do? I get it. I summoned a magical army and didn't actually do any of the fighting, but you don't know that. Why am I not getting any credit for this stuff? Um, so yeah, it's a pretty thin story. Uh,
Mm.
like I said, you've played Twilight Princess or you've played uh, the second Breath of the Wild. We just called it Tears of the Kingdom. That's the story of it. Just flipping the role.
Would you count Wind Waker as like in the if I was ranking and playing Zelda games?
Wind Waker is the second best Zelda game of all time.
Okay, then I would say, yeah, that's in my top three. Wind Waker.
Wind Waker is the second best, better than Tears of the Kingdom, or
Oof. Oh, you're making me actually think about it. Okay, so Ocarina of Time, Tears of the Kingdom,
Ocarina's.
and Wind Waker for the Wii U. So specifically for the Wii U, because they downsized the ocean a lot. Um, Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah.
I need to play Wind Waker because that is crazy to me. Like if people argued that Tears of the Kingdom was the best one, I'd be like, okay, cool, that's your favorite. That's totally fine. The fact that that's crazy. That's crazy, Josh.
It's really good. I would say it's a top three. Yeah.
Wind Waker is the most unique from my point of view. It's the one that takes the biggest chances. Um, because even this one, where they're like, hey, you finally get to play Zelda, which also part of my beef. Zelda is a Sheikah. She's already a badass. Why am I not able to fight with her? Sorry, stupid thing. Wind Waker is the one that takes the biggest chance in giving you the wind powers and how that actually impacts your ability to move around the map. You're moving around the map, you're solving of the puzzles, all that kind of stuff. Like, it's still a Zelda game where you still have your ocarina like musical instrument that plays a role, but like it's flooded, so you're it's just different in that way. I also really like the art style. It is the one to me that will never age. Like 20 years from now, we're gonna look at Breath of the Wild and Tears to the Kingdom and go, yeah, it looked good at the time, but things are so much better now. But because Wind Waker is like an art style, much like we talk about like How Do You Train Your Dragon and its animation, because of its art style, like no matter how old it gets, it will still be good because it was meant to look like that, and it's like perfect in that way.
I mean, I haven't played the game, but I'm looking at it right now, and I don't think it looks that good, to be completely honest.
Are you like looking at gameplay or
Just still images of the game, screen captures.
It's a very Toon-like art style, and it's very colorful, and I really like it. If you were to look at it and go, I hate that, or that looks stupid or dumb or kiddish, I would understand all of those arguments, and yeah, maybe not for you. Like, we've had this discussion about Avatar The Last Airbender. I don't super love the way it looks now. I think it looks dated. But you are like, no, it's an art style. It fits it. And
That's
like,
true.
that's also true. So I think this would fall under the same umbrella as like some people, maybe it won't work for it. That's totally fine. I'm not going to say that's wrong. I just know that I'm right in saying that it looks great.
I just remember like stealing my brother's little what is it cube? I can't
GameCube.
remember. GameCube. There we go. Thank you. And I would go to the one island where you could like pick up the pigs and they'd like be farting as you're running around, and like hop up on the windmill and just like pretend it's a Ferris wheel on that one island. It's very like I love the music in it. It's a very calming, chill game, but also a Zelda
Charming
game.
game.
Yeah, very charming.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. What would you rate it right now?
6.5.
Okay. Is it worth finishing?
I'm still playing it. I was playing it right up till we started recording. Like,
Okay.
it's a good game. It's still a Nintendo title Zelda game. Like, I'm sure that if I played Twilight Princess when it first came out, I would not be as negative towards it as I am. But, like, if you exclude that from my line of thinking, then, like, you're pretty much guaranteed to get a good game. First party Nintendo games are, I feel like, pretty much always at least decent.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. All right, let's go to my topic. I finished One Tree Hill. I wasn't planning on getting all the way through it, but I finished it. Um, in my opinion, if I were recommending this show, when Luke and Peyton leave, the show ended. Because yes, there's some good stuff after, but most of it is there's a lot of nonsense. Um, Clay. Oh, go ahead.
Isn't that what I said and you just disagreed with like last week?
So, dude, I really, really like the first half of season 7. Like, I really, really like it. It's up with my favorite part of this entire show. The second half of season 7 it's kind of like, it's not great, but it's not terrible. Season 8 is atrocious. Like, it's so full of stupidity, it's ridiculous. And season 9, I think, is a lot better than season 8. I think season 8 is a dumpster fire. But they have, like, Clay having a kid. It's just such a stupid storyline. And I was thinking, okay, if they have this cute kid, and obviously Jamie's getting older and they want a new cute kid in the show. Like, that is what they're doing. Cool. This kid has apparently lost his parents. Both of his parents are dead. You have Clay who's getting this relationship. The relationship is really good. I can understand why people would like this. Have Clay adopt this kid. That would be a cool story. But no, my trauma was so severe that I lost all memory of my child. I lost the memory of the pregnancy with my wife that apparently I remember. I didn't talk to any of my friends that could have mentioned my kid. All of them decided not to talk about my kid. Every single one. It's ridiculous. Like, it's absolutely stupid. When they said it was his kid, I was like, I literally said out loud, are you effing kidding me? It's so dumb. But this season does have some better stuff. Like, I actually liked Chris Keller in this season. He's annoying in the rest of the show. In this season, I actually kind of enjoyed him. And his shenanigans. I liked Dan and his trying to save his son. Like, that whole storyline I actually thought was really enjoyable. Does it all make complete sense? No, but it is highly enjoyable. And then you have just some good character growth on the side. You have Brooke trying to support her husband, which I really enjoyed. Brooke dealing with her dad and all of the pains that have come from being basically abandoned by her dad her entire life. I thought that was really well done. The fact that her dad is trying to help her, like, he brings her in to close the deal when they're done golfing, and he doesn't mean any harm by it. He's just trying to help his daughter. He's trying to connect with his daughter in the way that he knows how to. And he's not just the big boogeyman bad guy. He's a guy who's not doing things in a way that will help her out. And then they talk about it, and he shifts things a little bit. And I thought that was really cool. It was a well done storyline for this show. But you also have a lot of things that just are kind of dumb. You have the girl across the street who's also owns a diner, and Haley owns a diner, and they decide to fight, and it's all pointless drama, and it's a complete waste of time. Brooke having the guy who assaults her, Josh, getting out of jail after she gives this big thing of, like, he's not redeemed was stupid. And the fact that she didn't get a restraining order when he gets out of jail and he's creeping on her was stupid. Because you know what you would do when somebody is creeping on you constantly? You would get a restraining order. You also, you know what else she would do? She has been beat up at her own store. She's been robbed at her own store. Get freaking cameras. You dummy. Your store's been robbed multiple times. Cameras. Cameras are good. And if you had cameras, you could show that he is literally staring at you from outside the door every single day because you have freaking cameras.
Where's the drama
It's
in
dumb.
that, though?
Oh,
People have to be dumb in dramas.
You can have drama without just complete idiocy. And I feel like in the last 2 seasons, Brooke, which was my favorite character in the show, went from being somebody who struggled but was competent to a complete and utter moron. And I really hate that about the show. And that alone makes it to me like it's not worth watching the end seasons because you're not getting good character development. You're getting my favorite character turned into an absolute moron.
So this series, it follows them in high school, and then at this point they're out of high school, and it just keeps
Yes.
following that core group.
So it does something that I actually think is really cool that I haven't seen in other shows, where they have a high school years and then they have a bounce, and it bounces forward 4 or 5 years. Um, so you have Jamie, who two of the characters they have this kid in high school, and so they bounce it forward enough that this kid can actually be a character in the show, which I really like. You skip all the college years that just don't usually work in these shows at all, and you have the characters developed past that college years where you can be uh, more situated in your situation, where you can be more grounded and you can tell these stories as they're more grounded as they're trying to become parents instead of the college years, which are just hectic and don't work.
Okay. So they did a good job with like skipping ahead, but then they did nothing with the character development, is what I'm hearing.
They do a good job skipping ahead, and then they have a couple seasons of good character development that I think are really well done. And then your two main characters leave, and they don't know what to do with the show. So they bring in two characters. Once Peyton and Luke leave in season 6, at the end of season 6, they bring in Clay and what was her name? Clay and his girlfriend. I can't remember her name right now. I don't know why. Um, they bring in these two characters, and I like what they do with the development of them for the first half of season 7. But after that, they don't know what to do with any of the characters, so they're just filling it with drama after drama after drama. And every once in a while, they happen to hit the nail on the head. But most of the time, they're just kind of pounding at the board, filling it with drama as much as they possibly can.
Hoping to nail in a.
Yeah, it's not worth watching the whole show for those few times where I think they actually do hit it.
Just look on YouTube for the highlights.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think. And then you have this Dan character who is the villain kind of the show, sort of. And the way that they have the villain arc end with him was really good. I really actually liked that. It's one of the highlights of season 9. One of my other highlights of the later shows, you have this Jamie character, and Dan is the grandpa, Nathan is the son, and Jamie is the grandson, and they're all in this one show. Dan was this super harsh dad who wanted Nathan to go to the NBA because he never made it. So he pushes him again and again and again, screams at him when he's missing shots, that kind of a thing. And Nathan doesn't want to do that to Jamie. I think that's a cool story of generational trauma. Like, they do it really, really well, in my opinion. Jamie decides that he wants to play baseball, which I like that storyline. And Nathan says, I don't care what you do, but just decide to be excellent at it, and I'm going to help you. I'm going to support you. He doesn't want to be like his dad. He doesn't want to be toxic. Jamie decides that he wants to play baseball until the very end of the show, where they're like, wouldn't it be really sweet if they all played basketball? And so the very last shot of the show is Jamie is now in high school, and he's beat his father's all-time scoring record, and he's their lead point guard. It just would have been cooler if he just decided, you know what, I want to play baseball. And he ended up being great at baseball. If the ending shot was him with the all-time baseball scoring record, and he's about to hit a ball, that would have been awesome. But instead, they just kind of broke the cool part of the story that I really liked.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I hate when they're like, oh yeah, we're telling this whole thing. Actually, just kidding. We're scrapping all of that development and we're going back to this because why not? Because it's a basketball movie show.
Because it's a basketball show, and that wasn't my favorite. What did you think about the end of this, Josh?
I hated it. Like, going off of my memory, I would say you're probably exactly right in what you're saying, but I was probably slightly more negative to it because I never liked the Peyton and Lucas replacements. Like, there was nothing that they did that I felt was good for the show. Specifically for me, because it felt like they were trying to force them into those roles and have this rapport with the other characters that wasn't built up or established. So they just kind of like pop in and are there. And it's very clearly like, yeah, we couldn't get the same actors, so this is what we're doing. And everything was like kind of vaguely like, well, this is kind of what we sort of wanted to do with Lucas, but we got to change it a little bit because it's not Lucas. And that's just kind of how everything felt after that. And like, you're dead on the money. Like, Brooke goes from being like good drama, dumb, ditzy girl to completely incompetent to the point that it bothers you. Um, I don't remember liking the Dan thing at all, specifically because I actually feel like they built paths towards his redemption like 10 times before.
Yeah, they did do that.
And they just kept being like, "Oh
it.
crap, we forgot to give a villain to the story, so we have to revert back to Dan. Okay, Dan, you're a villain again." And it's like, "Okay, so he was redeemed, but like I can't trust his redemption because in season 10 in my mind, he's just going to be the villain again." Um so yeah,
That's fair. That's absolutely fair.
the first little chunk of the show I feel like is really really good. It starts to fall off a little bit, but I think Peyton and Lucas leave at the right time when they're like, this isn't getting any better, this isn't going to do anything good for us, and we should have just ended the show. So like I said, when they leave, that should just be the end of the show.
I agree. I agree. Actually, I really like the first 6 seasons. I will rewatch the first 6 seasons at some point. I won't watch the last three. It's just not worth it. It's just not. And I don't think, like I said, I wouldn't recommend if you wanted to rewatch this or watch this show, Lauren. I would just end at season 6. It's not worth it.
I ended it at season 3.
Which is crazy because that's the best season.
I just kept falling asleep and making fun of Squinty McGee.
Fair enough.
I mean, it's a teen drama. Like,
it is a teen drama.
I think that it specifically early on does something really cool where it gives you enough sports to get the guys also invested in the things. And I actually think they phased out of sports in the show fairly well. But I mean, like, it's not the best show of all time. It's not even my favorite teen drama. Like,
I'm debating what is my favorite teen drama. It would be on the list.
it is very
really
easily number 2.
Up a lot.
It is very easily my second favorite. Even if I just looked at the first 6 seasons and completely ignored the last 3, my favorite is just Friday Night Lights because it's the best.
So Friday Night Lights is what we're going to go through next because I don't think I've ever seen the whole thing, and I'm going to give it a full shot. It would either be this one or Buffy. I don't know which one. I would have to rewatch Buffy to say, but it's this one or Buffy.
Okay. Well, first thing for me, Josh, who is always wrong, was what in this situation?
What was that? Sorry?
Me, Josh, who is quote unquote always wrong. I was what in this situation? I just want to hear you say it.
You were right.
Thank you.
You were right about season 7 through season 9 of this show.
Perfect.
Not...
Thank you. I really appreciate that. All right, and on on-screen, off-screen scale of 1 to 10, how was season 9?
Oh, season 9 is 5.5. It's
Okay.
it's slightly good. It's slightly good.
Okay. And One Tree Hill as a whole, including those last 3 seasons.
7. 7. Give it a 7.
Okay.
If
That's still
I
pretty
got
good.
rid of the
Yeah.
last 3 seasons, I'd probably give it an 8.
I'd be right there around you, just a little lower if you include the last 3 seasons.
Fair enough.
Well,
Because I don't,
yeah.
other than season 8, I don't hate it. I really don't like season 8. Season 8 is bad. Season 8 is
Agreed.
bad season of TV.
So is season 9, and so is season 7.
Oh, season 7 and 9 have some good stuff. Season 8 is terrible. Anyway, guys, that is our separate topics. Let's go to our main combined topic. We decided to watch Batman Beyond. I haven't watched this since I was a kid. Josh, let's start with your thoughts on this one.
Well, this is continuing on from my Saturday morning excursion, which was 10 out of 10. Highly recommend that you guys spend days like that because it's just awesome. Lazy, good breakfast, good show from your childhood, video games. It's wonderful. Um, and this show is awesome. I absolutely love this show. I can't say anything negative about this show. You've got a great mentor character that's fit into the show really well, that doesn't betray the original Batman character at all. Um, you've got a really interesting twist on the normal Batman character. You include all of the baggage that Batman went through the animated series and the movies without um, making it necessary. So Lauren's going to talk about where she's at with it, and she hasn't seen all of the animated series. And I doubt that she was ever like confused by anything. But at the same time, like Mr. Freeze, right? He's the big baddie in early on season 1 of both shows, and like, yeah, if you just accept that some corporation has his head stuck in some closet, that is the one thing you can say negative in my mind. I think that the intro song isn't the best, but it's not so long that it bothers you. Um, like it could be, it's it's not a great
I'm
all
just going to
timer.
jump in and say you're crazy. That intro song is awesome.
I literally have in my notes that it's a banger.
Yeah, the
I
intro
like
song is
it, but it's not
awesome.
a Danny Phantom. Like, it's
Fair.
not
I
an all
absolutely think it
timer
is. I think
great
it's
theme song.
great. I love the intro song in this. I thought it was awesome.
I'm glad it worked for you. It was not like it's a good theme song, but I would say it's like a above average theme song, not a great iconic theme song. At least to me, like it was good, but 90% of theme songs I skip. This is one that I skip. There's only a few theme songs that I don't skip, and the ones I don't skip are because they're too short to even worry about skipping, or they're so freaking great, and that's pretty much just Danny Phantom. I can't think of anything else that I just like listen to. Oh, I guess Attack on Titan, the second
Attack on
half of season
Titan.
1.
Drake and
All the
Josh
rest of
actually
them I
really
skip.
like that one.
Oh, I really like that song too, but it's too long for a theme song for me. So when I'm binge watching, I'm just like, I'm not going to listen to this over and over and over again. We can move on. And that's kind of the same as I would put this Batman Beyond into.
Fair enough. All right. I pretty much agree with you completely. I like Batman the Animated Series a little bit better, I think, but it's just a little bit. It is remarkable how good this is. The fact that they basically invented a character and then created a world and had everything come together as well as it does is staggeringly cool. The animation is really well done. My only real gripe with the show is I wish that we would have had what is his name? Our main character,
Terry?
Terry. I wish they would have had Terry. Yeah, you show him wrestling, but wrestling is one aspect of martial arts, and everything you have to do as Batman. And I wish his training montage would have happened, and would have required a little bit more of him because we don't really get that in the show at all. And I think that the show would be better even if it was one episode of him getting trained by Batman or something besides him just kind of being able to do everything. Other than that, I think the show's great.
Here's my argument to that. I actually
Okay.
agree with you. I'm just going to play devil's advocate.
Mhm.
He is not raised by Batman, though. Like, he's not a former Robin. And he's some poor kid who grew up fighting on the streets. And they establish him before he becomes Batman as being a decent fighter person. And then, as his role as Batman, he uses technology a lot more than old Batman did. Like, he very often doesn't even throw his own batarangs. He, like, shoots them.
See, I agree with that. I think that they do a good job of showing the fundamentals. Like, this kid could become Batman. He has the stuff to be able to do it, but we need to we need to create him. We need to put him through the fires to be able to have him successfully be Batman. Does that make sense?
It does, but again, my argument is like he just sometimes he does, but like oftentimes he also just doesn't fight in the way the old Batman did. Like he ties them up, he bounces around, he shoots batarangs at it. Like he's distinctly his own Batman, which is a very good thing for me.
I
on
agree.
My side.
I agree with that. So Lauren, what do you think?
I just have to say that like every bully in like the superhero world is like Nash, Dash, Ash has like that type of name, and I thought that was funny because it just stood out to me that the bully, that Terry's bully is, I think it's Nash. And so I just thought that was funny. Wanted to point that out. I also kept forgetting that this is a futuristic Batman, so like everybody's on hoverboards and like things like that, which I thought was kind of cool. Like I think that's a really cool thing that they incorporated with it since it's an animated series in the future. They definitely took liberty to do all of that stuff. And then one little and this is just my own personal bias of animation, but with the eyes, it's so funny because I can tell if somebody is going to be a prominent character because their eyes are all the way done. Otherwise, they have like the pupil with the line, and that's their eyes. And I'm like, I was like, that's an NPC. But I mean, as far as like story and stuff, I really liked it, and how you had I can't remember his name, but the radioactive dude. How like he's
big bone dude.
Yeah, he's like in throughout the season, whereas like with the animated series, it was like the villain of the week. But he kept coming back. And yeah, I think I like this story. I also think it's just funny, like comparing, because I was doing like a Marvel binge the other week, and then now I'm doing a Batman. So I went from like Spider-Man to Batman, and it's like so funny how like DC does have darker themes, and with Spider-Man, it usually like ends on this high note of like, and we're all friends and we work together, yay! And then you have the Commissioner Gordon, which is now who used to be Batgirl, who's now there, and she's always like, what are you doing to this kid? Like, get this kid out of here. Stop dragging people into your own messes, Bruce. And I just think it's so funny, like the different vibes from Marvel to DC. And like DC's has darker themes, but I think is more realistic. Because, like, yeah, Bruce has been like adopting all these kids to go fight these battles. And he's like, I didn't pick them off the street. They came to me. And she's like, you should send them away. And I'm like, that's so, like, I like that they point out those things that, like, these are kids that you're making fight. Still a good story, but I like that they bring those issues into it.
Well, that hits a lot harder when you actually know her background. So, Conlon, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it Mask of the Phantasm where it's her and. Okay. So, in Mask of the Phantasm, Bruce very directly influences like the Joker is heavily involved and is the actual villain, but because he essentially trusted uh which Robin is it? Grayson? No.
It's I think it is Grayson.
No,
Sure
Grayson becomes Nightwing.
Is it Night? Oh yeah, it's Todd. Not is it Todd?
Jason Todd maybe?
One.
Okay.
Jason.
Anyway,
it's whoever the second one is. It's the second one.
so he gives the reins over to Robin way too young. And the Joker ends up kidnapping and torturing him into becoming the new Joker. And she was Batwoman at the time. And she was basically helpless to intervene. Her story was like she felt like it was too young, but didn't want to overrule Batman. So, like, she is saying that from a point of utter trauma and not just like, hey, they're minors. That's probably not the best idea to have them fighting criminals, which is totally valid thing to say. But she's like, are you forgetting? Your own kid abandoned you. You turned one into the Joker. The other one got killed.
Yeah, she has receipts to back it up.
Yeah, so for me watching that, and I'm sure for Conlon, that is a much more impactful moment than maybe it was for you. But like, what a beautiful part of the show at the same time.
Yeah, and like you mentioned earlier, I didn't see those, and that still like got through to the viewer. So I think it's good.
That's pretty cool. All right, ratings, everybody.
Lauren, animation wise, any problems with it? Anything that stood out to you?
Not that I could think of, other than the eyes. And it looked kind of familiar to me because Vox Machina. I know that one or two people that do animation on Vox Machina did some animated Batman, but I couldn't remember which ones it was, so I looked it up. Unfortunately, it wasn't this series, but it's like some other Batman. I think it was one of the Batman movies. But anyway, they're still very similar styles that I like. So
my one thing is, just so everybody knows, the Into the Spider-Verse guys, we're trying to get a Batman Beyond movie. I don't think it's going to happen. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. Did you look up the concept art, Josh?
No.
Oh, it is so badass. Lauren, you should look up concept art for Batman Beyond Into the Spider-Verse. Like, you should both look it up right now because it is freaking awesome. I would love for this to happen. I just don't think the character is popular enough. Unfortunately, this show was never ever the size of Batman the animated series, and it should have been. It should have been bigger than it was. And if we did get a movie, it would probably blow up, and I would freaking love it.
It'd definitely be a lot better than some of the animated Batman movies we've been getting instead.
Yes. More recent animated Batman movies have been kind of trash.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
Is it the concept art the same suit as the Batman Beyond?
Yes. Same suit, and it's all It looks very into the Spider-Verse color-wise. There's 3 different pictures of concept art. It is awesome.
The suit is going to have to grow on me because I do not like the suit.
Why not?
It's just like, it's all black except for a red bat. And I mean, I like when his wings pop out when he's like gliding. I like that. But then when it just goes away, it's just, I don't know. It's not as like imposing as like other Batman suits. It just, he looks a little scrawnier in it. It seems like it's like Spider-Man with the bat ears, and it's weird to me because normally Batman I feel is like big, bulky, and this one seems like a little bit more slimmer and not as intimidating. Whereas like Batman, I usually think of as like an intimidating hero.
Was that so? At the very beginning of the show, you have Bruce in the costume, and then you have main guy whose name I forgot again.
Terry.
Terry. Yes, you have Terry in it, and I feel like they look different, which is something I like about the animation. Bruce looks bigger.
Terry looks smaller in his suit than he does outside of his suit, which is what like I think is also making me not like it as much. Because yeah, at the very beginning when you have Bruce in the suit, he did look intimidating. But then like he feels naked without his cape. Like I think you need the cape. But
do you agree, Josh?
I didn't have any problems with it. I like the suit. I like that it feels unique and on its own. Lauren's exactly right. If you put Terry, the animated character, right next to Batman Beyond, the animated character, you'd be like, no, those are very different body types. That one, like, Batman Beyond is like 20 pounds skinnier than that other guy, and shoulders are completely different shaped. Um, but it's close enough that in an animated thing, it's something you wouldn't notice till you notice, and even then, it's something that I can totally forgive. It doesn't bother me at all.
Fair enough. All right, now let's get to ratings. I would give this probably an 8.5. What about you guys? Lauren, you first.
I think I don't have like the attachment to it because like I didn't watch it as like a kid, so I'd say like 7.5.
Okay.
8.5. I think you're right on the money there. Here's my big question, though, Lauren. You have to now pick a side.
I have to pick a side.
Because Conlon thinks that Batman the Animated Series is better. And I think that Batman Beyond is slightly better.
Wow. Okay.
You have to pick which one of us is your better friend and which one of us is.
Not which Batman's better. Which one's the better friend?
You gotta pick which one is dead to you.
Great.
No, just which one's better. I'm very curious. Because both of these you don't have the attachment to.
I know. It's honestly, that's kind of hard to pick in between. Because if I'm wanting to go more into, I feel like delving into characters, I would want to do Beyond. If I want more of just a monster of the week, I would want animated series. But I don't think that I have watched enough of either to pick a side. But if I were to pick a side right now, I would probably want to do Batman Beyond, like continue watching that one over the animated series.
No.
Batman Beyond, she can't take it away. She said it. I know she was dancing around it, but she said it. It's official. Batman Beyond is better.
Ask me again next week.
Nope. I'm chiseling it in stone. There is
will.
no taking that away.
Chiseling it in stone, my gravestone.
Garbage. Yeah, they're both great. I'm okay with that. They're both great. I think you're wrong, but they're both great.
I mean, like, honestly, we're talking about like 1/10 of a point in my mind. Like, they are so close. I'm sure if we were to break it down that much, I'm sure it'd be very close for all of us. So
They're both super good.
They're all great.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, that's going to be our episode. We appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe. tell us what you think. Is Batman Beyond better? Is Batman the Animated
No, we
Series
already
better?
settled that.
Hey, no, we haven't watched the entire show. Okay, we gotta watch the whole show of both of them. Lauren, you don't need to watch anything else. That's all you're gonna watch is both of them, the whole thing.
All my
And
topics.
let us know. Anyway, we appreciate you guys. We'll see you next time. See ya. Peace. Bye.